but it's very hard to recognize it when you're right in the middle of it. It takes, most of the time, takes someone else to say, whoa, what are you doing?
At the end of the day, it's like your body carries things in certain places, and depending on where it is determines.
So what happened with my generation is that we totally swung to the other side of the pendulum, and
truth in the air, let it speak.
This is why you test things before you're actually supposed to start, right?
This is why I don't do anybody in person.
Less things to control, less things to have to worry about.
Exactly.
So, Caroline, how's your day?
Wonderful.
Awesome.
It's been good.
Good, yeah. I got about 3 hours worth of sleep, but I almost didn't go to sleep because
you were so excited.
I took the last sips of my energy drink about 3 o'clock this morning.
Okay,
it was extremely watered down. And for whatever reason, I was just like, oh my God, what about this? What about that? Ooh, let me ask this. Ooh, let me figure this out. And next thing I know, I'm Amazon Prime Day deal shopping. And I'm like,
you're supposed to shut everything down at like 10 o'clock at night or an hour before you go to bed.
That was an hour before I went to bed.
You went to bed at 3:30.
I got home about 3:30.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better you than me. I can't do that. If we were sitting here now and that was me.
Yeah. I can function and flow through it. Mm-hmm. I'll be here all day. I won't be tired until we're completely done.
And then everything shuts off.
Basically.
Literally.
And then I'll just filter through the rest of the day. But it'll be fine. I will be fine. I will be fine, people. Trust me.
You say that
and if
now.
not, Shamar's here.
You say that now.
Yes. Hey, what's going on, good people? It is Shamar, Tay's trusty sidekick.
And with that being said, welcome back to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast, where seeds sown become visions grown. I would like to give a shout out to Allen Luck Studios.
I would like to thank us.
Shout out to Charlotte Podcast Studio.
I would like to thank us.
And shout out to Art Box Charlotte.
I would like to thank us.
And shout out to Mono too, because they had me on another thing. So yeah, the audio mixer I got, nothing to do with this episode or anything, but the mixer I got, the audio interface, the P1. Go check it out, try it. I got a video out. Go look for it. If I remember, I'll put it in the description, but if not, Tay with the edits. Y'all know where I'm at.
Well, you will have to remember because you're going to edit this video.
I'm going to have to what?
Remember, because you got to edit the video. Oh, you don't edit nothing.
That's right. Tay don't edit. Tay not editing. I don't edit. Listen, y'all. Today, I know how today is supposed to go, but
it's not going that way.
It ain't functioned the way it was supposed to since I woke up this morning, and it's okay. At the end of the day, we are still here and we are still alive, and we are going to carry on this conversation. Listen, sitting across from me today, I have Miss Caroline. She is also a podcaster, and she does a plethora of other things. A plethora. Yes. So, y'all know, in good old Creative Roots fashion, I am not going to introduce her. I'm going to let her introduce herself because Tay is not butchering anything. So yes, Caroline, can you
So you're leaving it up to me to butcher it?
I mean,
okay.
We'll
do the best we can. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you want to know what I do? Or you want everybody else to know what I do?
Yeah, let them know who you are and what you do.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I'm Caroline Rena. I am, this is my title. I had to figure something out, hopefully for people to understand what it is. So I'm a spiritual alchemist, and I am the host of the Awakening Soul Divinity Podcast. And I'm also a writer. Mm-hmm. And they all kind of mix in together. So, and basically, as the spiritual alchemist, it's holding space for people as they walk through whatever things, brick walls. They're trying to figure things out in life, whatever. So I hold space for people to recognize the truth of who they are in themselves, so they can step through the fear of doing the things that they're meant to do on the planet. So that's the best thing. That's the best way I could explain it.
So in short, similar to a therapist, you help people through whatever it is, help find a way to get through it, get over it.
Kind of.
In a sense.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, therapy is more cognitive.
Right.
The work I do is more energy work. Like, I do the cognitive, but the energy work is what holds the space. So people, I use my own energy to create a space of healing for the person to recognize themselves. Like with therapy, and please, I do not knock therapy because I've been doing it forever, or had been doing it forever. But therapy is more like you tell your story over and over again until you recognize what's going on in your life. But then you got to go past that. And the past part is what I'm learning now with my own healing is the body. It's like the body carries everything. And when the body is carrying things, because we've been kind of programmed not to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
Right? So when the body's carrying something and we're told, oh, no, you can't listen to your body. You got to listen to the doctor or this or that. Nothing against doctors. So whatever I say here, there's nothing against anything. It's just, it's separating 3D life from who we are. And because we're not just human, we're also, I'm going to just share, I listened to Panache Desai, and the words he uses is love, light, presence, and infinite. So we have all that happening at the same time. But sometimes we trip over ourselves as humans trying to figure out what we're doing in our lives, while at the same time other people are telling us what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And so it gets confusing, and then we don't know what to do.
Conflict.
Right. But it's in our minds and our bodies. And so the work I do is kind of separating that so you can start trusting yourself.
Yeah. We talked about some of those things with different people here. Some of the words are different. Some of the words line up. But at the end of the day, it's like your body carries things in certain places, and depending on where it is determines what it is. Right.
I mean, it's all, you're right. It's all very close. You're going to use different language depending on, if you studied something, there's going to be a language there, because people pull from the research that prior therapists and prior psychiatrists and, all the dating back to the late 1800s or whatever, like Freud and Carl Jung and that kind of thing. So we're all going to pull from that information because that's how we learn it. But then we kind of mix it in with our own gifts, I guess, so to speak. But it's like, I mean, you're right. It's people are going to do it the way they do it. And sometimes you come up with really cool names, like whatever spiritual alchemist is, I mean, it just happened to show up one day and I'm like, okay, you know what alchemy is, right?
I don't remember, but yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's basically
whatever you touch turns to gold. That's
right. Well, something like that. It's actually metal. It comes from the alchemists of the olden days, whenever that was, the ancients, where they took, one metal, which I can't think of the metal right now, and changed it. It's like changing the chemistry of the metal into a new compound, which is gold, right? So what we're doing with people is we're taking all of that heavy stuff, the heavy metal, lead, that's what it is. I think it's lead to gold.
Okay.
And so you take that and you recreate and uncover what's really in there. So when you finally can see who you are inside, then you're able to walk through the blind spot that you're having, or walk to the next level of whatever you're doing. And if that makes it that, or even just walking through whatever challenge you're having in your life, so it's like, and half the time you already know what it is. You just don't know what it is.
Subconscious issues.
Yeah. Because we all have that inside of us to know what it is, but we are kind of resistant and stubborn and scared and all of that stuff. And that holds us back because we don't trust that they're back to the trust. We don't trust ourselves.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So Caroline.
Yes.
You hear this? What took place for you to and I'm trying to work through the vision that I'm seeing. What took place to where I'm gonna say you stepped back, analyzed this, and said, this is something that I have to do. So, like, what got you started into being this spiritual alchemist? Like, what happened? What happened? Look,
Okay.
how did we get here?
You're right. The conversation was deep. You talk about what happened. That felt like
this could take a lot longer than you think. Okay, in this lifetime, over 35 years worth of trauma and healing work and dark nights of the soul, and I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase wailing and gnashing of teeth. Mm-hmm. Okay, a lot of that. Right?
Yeah.
Then you can add the whole generational piece to it, and then you can add past life pieces to it. Like all these things just started coming up over the years as I was, because I love putting puzzles together. Mm-hmm. I'm the puzzle. I love researching. And so over the years, it's like, you've heard of toolboxes, right? People talk about toolboxes, like you learn something and you put it in your toolbox and you can use that later if something's going on in your life, you can pull from whatever that tool is. Does that make sense when I say that?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I get the analogy.
Okay. You're giving me that look.
No, I'm listening.
I know. You're like, what is she really saying? I'm not sure what she's saying. But okay, so a toolbox, for example, just in case. So for me, one of the things that I had to do was we all get to do this, is to connect with our inner child, right? Because that's who shows up in our life when things are going, whoa, they're the ones running the show.
Right.
So when you're talking to a little kid who's 5 years old or 8 years old or 10 years old, mine was 10, and she's like, I'm in charge. You're upset. I'm taking over. And then your whole world goes like chaos, complete chaos. So for a long time, I didn't know that. So my whole world went chaos into complete chaos. And I learned to, when I knew that she was having, like here, perfect example. I walked in here, I'm pacing. Shamar says, you're pacing. Why are you pacing? That was her. But that's like a really calm version of what I used to do. So I come in and I'm breathing and I put my hands on my heart and I close my eyes and I tell her everything's going to be okay. It's like you're reparenting yourself. You're talking to yourself, reparenting yourself, because potentially you never got that when you were a child, right? And I didn't feel like, I don't remember getting that. So now I'm reparenting myself, right? So that's a tool. So you build these tools when you take courses or you read books or whatever, and you see something, oh, well, that looks like it might work. And you try it. That's what I did. Yeah. I tried it. And if it didn't work, I'm like, gone. I can't, obviously it's not, I don't need to carry that around with me, right? So I keep the things that worked for me. And when something came up, then I used that. So that's the toolbox. Now I have no idea where we started with this whole, we're going through my life. Ooh. So 8 years ago, I basically went into a deep, dark hole. I was depressed. I'm a veteran. So I went into this whole thing because I went through something in the military, which is called they call it military sexual trauma, and I call it harassment. It's the same thing. It's just harassment too. But I just 2023 or 2021 started the whole thing. I crashed and burned in 2023. I was almost homeless. All these things were going on. I found out some things online that I wish I would have heard from the person, that type of, that kind of thing. Everything was just crashing. And but because I'm aware and observant about myself and other people the way I am, which is a gift. I dug. I kept digging. I went deep. I started writing, and I started doing poems, and I started doing, all these different things. And little by little, once this group in Florida a veterans group in Florida was helping me through this, I found a place to live. Then I started going through the generational trauma, and that was not fun. It's not a fun place to go. But it's very interesting because then you can start to see where some of your behaviors came from, right? So that helped me, puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
And then once that was all over with, I decided to come up to move. I didn't want to be I was in South Florida at the time. I didn't want to be there anymore. Too chaotic. I was telling Shamar, it's like, this very noisy there. I'm not good with noise. Do you know what an empath and a highly sensitive person is? Shamar?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So an empath is someone who can feel, I think we've talked about this before, but they can feel other people. Like you walk into a room and you're like, not a good place to be. I got to get out of here.
Okay. Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And then for a highly sensitive person, everything, like a lot of artists are highly sensitive because you don't just do your art, you feel your art. If you see a sunset, you feel the sunset. If you're watching a bird fly, you feel the bird. You feel the air under your wings, whatever. That's highly sensitive. So I'm very much of both. And when I moved up here, it got quiet. And I could come back into myself and sit with myself because there wasn't so much noise around me. Like I live in a cathedral of trees in the middle of a place. It's not a city. It's a town. Let's say that, and birds and chipmunks, and I'm like that. Okay. So little by little, I started finding myself. I started uncovering that peace. I started uncovering the truth. That's our truth.
The noise was gone.
The noise was gone. And that's what's so interesting about humans is that we actually create noise so we can protect ourselves from hearing ourselves or knowing who we are because we're afraid of that because of trauma or because of, many things that could have happened to us.
True.
Right? So that's been my path along. So I do that with myself. And then in 2024, at the end of 2024, after doing much research in Uber, driving for Uber and many other things, I recognize that there's a lot of empaths and highly sensitive people out there. And so that became my audience, I guess, avatar, whatever you want to call it in podcast world, And so that's who so when I started it became an interview of people who had been through trauma. And I talked to you about this. You go through the trauma, you come out on the other side, you're of service to people. And then I want to talk to people just like me, right? And one thing led to another, and then it's just been a fun ride, let's put it that way. Which, by the way, my first podcast was called The Ride of My Life because I shared all the crap I was going through.
Just let it all out.
Let it all out. I don't know why I was doing it. Didn't matter. I didn't care. I was an open book. It's just and it was people. I think nowadays people need to know or would like to know that they're not alone in how they feel, and everything doesn't have to be professional. I don't do things professionally so I look good. I do it because I want to connect with people.
Yeah. Connection goes a long way compared to sitting within a box of rules and standards.
Or perfection.
That too. To some people, this is not professional or perfect because we just start. We don't sit and say, okay, give me a count. Some people do because that's, what they want, what they need. But here it's like before we even press record, we're already in conversation. So after that, we just press record, we sit down and, we talk until it's like, okay, now do the intro.
Yeah.
Because we've been here for a while. I don't even remember, but, we've been here at least 30, 40 minutes, right?
Happy.
And we've just been talking. Well, not sitting here, but
okay.
since you got here, you know, so it's been 30, 45 minutes or so, and it's just conversation. We just sit.
Right, Shamar?
Yep. It's been 45 minutes. I was going to confirm. But no, I want to jump in there, though, because that made a lot of sense when you said a person gets upset or scared or something, and then that child shows up. Because I started thinking about a lot of people are childlike when they, what are you doing? They get upset, but that makes sense now. I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And here's the thing, Shamar, though, but there's a difference between childlike and childish.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I really meant was childish.
And I had to figure that out myself because I was like, well, what do you mean by childlike? Because I'm acting like a child right now. Well, what are you talking about? I'm not. But there's a difference between the two of them. I mean, when you're childish, your entire, trauma is coming out sideways on somebody. You know what I mean? But when you're childlike, you're enjoying life.
Right.
That feels like the difference to me.
I think about it like childlike is just that likable, the positive side.
Yeah.
Childish. I mean, even when you say ish, your face turns. So it's like, what are you doing?
I got that.
And it's like the negative stance because you childish. And it's like you had to do something from where, what I know. You did something that was just like, really? But if it's like childlike, it's like you just see a kid with a smile,
Yeah.
What is it?
It's
playing jacks.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I went there.
Yeah.
You see a kid playing what is it? Hopscotch, double dutch.
Dutch.
You see or at least the way I visualize, I'm like childlike. I visualize like my kids are outside playing football or, when they were younger and it was raining outside, we would put on swimming trunks and go play and run in the rain. I mean, what else was there to do, right?
The mud puddles.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like childlike.
Right.
Kind of puts a smile on your face, but childish is like,
yeah.
Come on now.
Well, it's like childlike is magic.
Mm-hmm.
Childish is we got a trauma here that we need to fix. We got something going on inside that's causing like your whole world falls apart because and you can see it in, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you are, and the men in my generation have like not all of them. I can't generalize anything, but the men some
will be nice.
But they're like it's so hard for me to watch a guy near my age, and I'm 61. I'm going to be 62 in August. And when I see a guy who I think is, whatever, a man, having a temper tantrum in front of me, or what is passive aggressive behavior where he gets mad and he just walks out. Women do that too. Don't get me wrong. Women do that too.
It's just worse when a man does it, but go ahead.
Sometimes, yeah, I think so. But
I know so. Go ahead.
Okay. We could talk about that later.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but basically it's like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Or it's actually hard. It's harder for me to deal with passive aggressive than it is for me to deal with a temper tantrum in front of me. I would rather it used to scare me, so I didn't really like it. But passive aggressive, it's like, am I boring you?
No.
Oh my
no,
God.
She didn't call me out. No.
It's okay. You can yawn.
Yes.
He just told you he had 3 hours of
passive
sleep.
aggressive. But they do say that yawns help you to recognize the truth about yourself. So nobody said that. I didn't call you out even deeper. No, I didn't. I wouldn't do that. You know that. But we'll clear that. If we have to edit that might be a thing too, but no.
Shimon, what Tay don't do?
He don't edit.
I don't edit nothing. It's in there. Y'all heard it here live on Creative Roots Podcast.
I still love you. Okay. So anyway, the passive aggressive is hard, especially for women. Like I've had men on my podcast that I do interviews with, and I ask them to share how they feel from their perspective with other men. So when they've walked through and understand what they've learned, which you've got now you've got a man who's done his work and understands all of that stuff and doesn't walk away when they're upset about something. They actually talk, so that to me helps both the women understand what's happening and the men understand what's going on because it's coming from a man, right? And so passive aggressive is very challenging as an adult because that's your little kid coming out saying, I don't want to talk about this. And you walk out and don't even say a word, So there's an opening there to heal something that hurt you.
I'm thinking about the and then walk away. I've seen people shut down and not say anything. And again, that comes from that, trauma. You don't say anything because growing up, you saying something
will get you
slapped or popped or, depending on who your parents were, how they grew up. And, it's shut up and don't talk back. So then, stop that crying, So men are told not to cry. And then growing up, you're also told not to talk back. So then when you get older, you just have this sense of, I'm not going to cry regardless of what I'm going through.
Yeah.
But I've been trained to shut up so much. I don't want to talk because X, Y, and Z for that individual.
Right. And it's not their fault. I mean, let's take it this way. It's not the child's fault.
Right.
But it's the adult's responsibility to change that for themselves. But it's very hard to recognize it when you're right in the middle of it. It takes, most of the time, takes someone else to say, whoa, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can't say, I'm acting like a kid right now and I'm going to stop because I'm going to take responsibility for you can't do that when you're in it because you're already out of your head. You're in fight or flight stress response type of thing. And the crazy thing about it is whatever happened when you were a child wasn't your fault, but you're still living in it. And that's why you take responsibility. So whatever that trauma was, and it could be really a huge, they call it macro trauma or whatever. And then big something happened. And as a child, we protect ourselves. And one way of protecting is like you're saying, it's like, shut up, don't say a word because I've got to stay. Like I used to, my little girl, my real little girl used to go in the closet and hide. So that was my protection. So I isolated when I got older because that was the only thing I felt safe doing. But then I was like, oh, but now I'm not living my life.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is when we do that, when we're still stuck in that little child, we're not living a full life.
Yeah.
So when we can recognize that, we can change it.
Yeah. And I don't remember who it was, but we had that conversation that's like you revert back to that child in those situations, and that's where you sit. So I know for me, if you want to argue, we can argue. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, but coming from childhood trauma, it's like, let me explain. Let me express why I said what I said, did what I did. Like with my kids, okay, why did you do this instead of go to your room? What happened? Let's figure out where things went left. Okay, now what made you do that? And I don't know is not a sufficient answer. If the answer is I don't know, that tells me you're not fully thinking through whatever it is you're doing, right? What happened? Yeah. Okay, dial back. What happened?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think you're listening. What happened?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, calm down. Let me take that back because I can't stand when anybody tells me to calm down.
I don't like
let's
it
sit. And let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not in trouble yet, maybe.
Yeah.
I need to know. And I tell my kids, it's better to tell the truth and get in trouble than lie and get in trouble later.
Yeah.
If you tell me the truth straight out of the gate, all right, listen, we got to have a conversation. But if you lie, I'm like, it takes too much energy to lie, because you got to remember that lie. Then you got to lie about the lie.
Right.
The next thing you know is a chain reaction of lies, and you done forgot. Now you done told me the truth. Now I know I kind of went a little left with that one, but it's like.
But you didn't, because you're giving a perfect example about like my generation and the way kids were raised. You all, how old did you say you were?
I'll be 42.
Okay.
Within a week after this comes out.
So you're like what I call the bridge generation. You guys, my son is 38. Same thing. And the bridge generation got, I apologize.
Oh, no.
Right? Well, it's like they got, my generation is the very tail end of the baby boomers. So they went through all kinds of trauma, and they were not good at nurturing. So what happened with my generation is that we totally swung to the other side of the pendulum and over-nurtured. And for whatever reason, and I'm noticing this, your generation, my son, you guys are like coming in the center somehow, because you can see the way we were, and we're not giving you guys what, like, it was almost like helicopter parenting, which is not good either, right? It's either no nurturing like we got, or helicopter parenting. So you're in the middle going, wait, what's happening right now? So you saw that from us, and then you have to kind of figure out a way to, and you've also seen like technology is all shifted. You guys got almost as much technology change as we did. You guys, I don't know. I don't think you were old enough. Like, I got the dial phone.
Yes.
Right? You did have that? Okay.
Yes.
Because depending on, like, if you live in a rural area, you were going to have a dial phone. But a lot of kids your age didn't get that, right? But then you have all these things that you had to learn that most generations after you come in and they're like, cell phone.
Yeah.
Right? So they didn't understand any of that stuff. Then on the other side of it is you understand us. And then all these kids coming behind you are so aware. They're like beyond aware. So you've got the ones that are constantly here on the phone, and then you've got the ones that are, so you're learning, you're understanding how not to do this. And maybe you're seeing the things that are happening, or the way the kids are coming in now, where they're like, they know everything. I don't know how. But you want to, but what you're doing, and I'm grateful for it, what you're doing with your children is you're giving them an opportunity without just saying no, and I'm not going to tell you why. Because that's how your generation and my generation were raised. It's like, in some cases, you don't need to know why. You did something wrong, you're going to get punished for it. Go to your room.
And I don't like telling my kids because I said so.
Yeah,
that doesn't, so what did I do?
Yeah.
Well, why can I not, if I say something like, or any parent says, don't touch the stove, the response of, well, why can't I not touch the stove shouldn't be because I said so. It should be because you're going to burn yourself.
But they're still going to be curious, though.
Yes.
Kids are always.
But at least I gave you a reason why you shouldn't touch the stove.
Exactly.
Come in the house by the time the street lights come on.
Well, they still do. You all still do that?
My kids don't go outside. Well, yours does.
Right.
But a lot of these kids don't go outside.
They don't. That's why I asked that question. I was like, whoa.
I had to think about it, like, do we even have a street light?
I don't know.
Like, I said it on multiple episodes. My house is the neighborhood house. So all the kids in the neighborhood and outside the neighborhood, they come to my house because there's a field about as wide as this studio between my house and then the neighbor's house. And that's where they play football. They play kickball.
So cool.
We had to stop them from playing baseball, softball because
windows?
Some of y'all can't hit, and we like our windows,
They cost a little more than they used to.
Yes. And then when it snows, they get their cardboard boxes or they get the little sleds, and we have this high hill that goes from like the floor to the top of the loft, and they slide down, and after that they go back home. So that's what I was talking about, the street lights. I don't know, all the kids are always at my house. The next thing I know, the parents are calling, hey, is my son down there? He's like, yes, come get them. And then they drive, they pick them up. So I'm like, and then with the summer, the sun goes down at like 9:00 now.
Yeah.
My kids are usually in the house by 8:30
Yeah.
anyway, because at that point they're like, all right, I'm done. You know, I've been outside since 11:00 this morning.
Right.
You know, like, so I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing is, like, I'll reel us back in.
Thank you.
Well, it's like that's the inner child.
Yeah.
But the inner child needs guidance and love and protection and all these different things. And when they don't get it, it's like when you have a trauma, I'm going to get technical here for a second, but when you're traumatized as a child, the trauma, I learned this a while ago, is like a loop. It comes around and it goes through these cycles, right? Trauma, whatever the cycle is, that part I can't remember right now, but it goes through the cycle. But there's always, with a trauma, there's a gap at the bottom that stays open. And when the gap stays open, that child grows up with that gap. You, being the parent that you are filling the gap.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Filling in all the gaps.
Well, maybe not all of them, but you got some of them you got going. You're not, no one's perfect at parenting. Parenting's very difficult.
That is a day by day thing.
It's a moment by moment thing, because even their energy and their whatever changes minute to minute. So you got to keep up with all of that stuff, you know, right? So there's nothing wrong with you either. You're just trying to track all of that. Dr. Spock was not a good, You know who I'm talking about? There's a book that's this man named Dr. Spock wrote on how to, something about raising children. I can't remember, but it wasn't, there was a lot of really weird information in there. Anyway, I digress.
No.
Yeah. So, you literally have to figure this out as you go. It's not something you can read in a book ever. But with you, or with the inner child, like when you're, as a child who was traumatized, let's talk about you for a minute, right? It's like you were traumatized as a child. You don't have to get into it. I already know pieces of it you kind of shared.
They do too.
Right. Well, and I'm sure they were traumatized too. So as a child, you're traumatized. You have the gap. And then you go through life trying to figure out, and then when, let's say somebody made you angry, but you weren't allowed to speak up, right? Same thing like you brought up earlier. You had to just, that's it. Can't cry, can't do this, can't whatever. Or sadness with men is a big one. Like you're not allowed to cry. So that's sadness right there at that block or that opening. And so later on in life, every time sadness is an energy. All emotions and feelings are energies. So sadness comes in from something else and you're like, it stops probably here. And when it stops here, it stops you from feeling the sadness because you probably from fear, you don't want someone to say you're whatever because you're crying or, whatever. And so you block it. And every single time sadness comes in, it gets stuck.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And finally, one day, that's what I call the dark night of the soul. It's like your soul ain't going to put up with that anymore. It's going to be like, I poked at you enough. You didn't listen to me. And now I'm really going to poke at you. And that's when it all comes out. Most of the time, a dark night of the soul, you're by yourself because you need to be.
Yeah.
But it's a thing where you get to connect with your soul. You get to release that. It wants you. That's why we're here.
Yeah. It's a moment of, like you said, it's a moment of release. And you just sit in it. You kind of have no other choice but to sit in it.
That's exactly right. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
And regardless of where you are determines, in a sense, how hard you sit in it.
Yeah.
It can happen while you're driving. It could happen in the shower.
Yep.
It could happen first thing as soon as you wake up in the morning.
Yep.
And again, it takes over your body. You have to still figure out how to function to get certain things done. Because if you're driving, you can't just be like, you got to keep your hands on the steering wheel. You have to still be attentive to your surroundings, but you still gotta dial in, tap in, and let that mess go. You know, and I'm not saying that it's always easy to let go, but you have to, even if it's just an inkling, just a little small piece that you can just have released. You still have to flush it.
Well, that's exactly. And you did that. So I was going to say breath. Like if you're driving, don't cry. What I've learned is to tell myself, okay, we're going to set up a time. And generally when something comes up, it's better to get it out while it's coming up and not wait, because then it'll come up next time even bigger. Right. So, but if you're driving, just do breath work, because it's easy to do that. And it's not going to be as overwhelming as crying would be. Right.
True.
But if it's coming up, especially if you're by yourself, the best thing that you can do is let it come up. Because I remember years ago, like I was so afraid of getting angry. I was always told, and as women, we were taught that. See, there's truth in there too. We were taught I was taught not to get angry. You're taught not to get sad, to be sad. So my anger built. So when I started feeling these things come up, I was afraid I was going to rage out and I didn't know how to control it. It never happened that way. It was weird, but I was afraid of that. But I remember something happened. My life was falling apart. I say da-da-da because it's happened quite a few times. And I'm sitting there, and for whatever reason, and grief is a huge part of this, right? So for whatever reason, I looked over at the clock and it was whatever time, 6 minutes after something, whatever. And I'm like, all right, let her rip. I'm going to let it rip because I'm okay at crying. I'm fine with it. But I wasn't really that good at grieving. So there's a different kind of cry when you grieve. That's how I pictured it. And I'm like, all right, just let it go. I'm not going to rage. I know everything's going to be okay. I know everything's going to be okay. And I just bawled and I was like on the bed and sweating and doing the whole thing or whatever. And when I got done, and I'm not going to say this is going to happen with everybody, but it's close. It doesn't happen as long as you think it's going to be. So I looked over at the clock. It was 6 minutes later. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And then I felt like a huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders. But that's the thing with grief and with feelings and all that kind of stuff is the allowing piece of it, to let it go. Because when you hold on to it, that adds to that little kid. That is the little kid trying to come out and be who they need to be and have been stifled. But by letting out that feeling, you're letting out that the thing that you held on to tightly for so long that you've wanted to let go of, that you wanted to let go of when you were a child and couldn't, do it. Because once you let it out, you're going to feel like, whoa, okay, everything is pretty now.
Yes.
Right?
We hold on to things way longer than it takes to release it. I mean, I'm going to go there because this is something simple that everybody has to do. Think about you're in the midst of doing something. It's like, okay, I need to go to the restroom. And then next thing you know, it's an hour later. Okay, I still got to go pee. And then it's like, but I got to get this done. And it takes less than 2 minutes to fully do what you have to do in the bathroom. And it's like, I should have been done this.
This is our day-to-day life here in the studio.
Well, that happens when you're on a podcast and you can't get up in the middle of a conversation and say, whoops, sorry, I got to pee.
You know what? You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
There has been at least one episode that I did have to cut because it was like, hold on.
It's not lasting any longer. Yeah.
This ain't.
It's not working.
At least one. But yeah, process it. Just flush it.
Literally.
However,
flush it out.
However, it has to happen.
Well, but that's so interesting that, how we got here is, I don't know. But what's interesting about this is it kind of leads into what I'm learning, I think I mentioned earlier about the body. Is we don't pay attention to our body. We put our body off. We don't like it. We've been taught not to like it. We've been taught to ignore it. We've been taught to hate it. We've been taught to hate illness. Illness is our body talking to us and telling us that that there's something you need to do here, but we don't even understand what that is because we don't know how to listen to our bodies, right? So even something like you said, as simple as peeing, going to the bathroom, come on. Trust me, I've been there. I've done it a lot. where I just totally ignore myself. And, it's like, wait, just hold on a minute. I got to finish this one thing. I just want to find a stopping point. I just want to do whatever. And meanwhile, my body's going, get up and go to the bathroom.
Or just order the food and get it delivered.
Right. Instead of starving yourself for the next 3 hours.
My head, I need to eat.
Right.
And then you still typing away.
Yes. Okay.
You're doing so many other things except for, like you said, paying attention to what your body is telling you.
But
it's so simple.
It is. It doesn't show just how alike we are, how much more alike we are than we're different.
Mm-hmm. In general.
In everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Well, we are human.
Yes. That's it.
That's it. There's no other. There's this human and this human and this human and this human and this human. We are human.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
The end.
The end. Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's an and though, because not only are we human and we think we need to fix ourselves, we're also divine.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's inside of us too.
Mm-hmm.
We're love, we're light, we're presence. I think I said this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's the thing is when we finally recognize that we're human and accept the fact that we're human, and again, I'm repeating all this stuff that I'm learning from Panache, it's like, oh my gosh, it's true though. The minute you accept something, I'm human. I accept the fact that I'm human. Sure. Okay, I behave this way because I was traumatized as a child. No wonder I'm behaving this way, right? When you start accepting that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. It's just not hard. And that brings us closer together as humans because then we can recognize, oh, well, I screwed that up. You screwed something up. Whatever.
There's a connection.
Of course there is. And then he's leading to oneness.
Yeah.
We are all one.
And a lot of things you don't necessarily have to have a full-blown conversation about. It can just be certain things spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shamar and I, we hear it a lot. Like, y'all are the same. And we're like, no, we're not. And then there are other people that are like, y'all like good cop, bad cop. And then they're like, one of you is nicer in these situations compared to the other one. And we're just like, no. Like Shamar said before, there have been people that are like, you're never going to find anybody as business-minded as you. And then I show up. And it's like, people don't understand the connection that we have to the businesses that we run and the people that we talk to and deal with within this space, not necessarily the studio, but just in this industry and outside. We can, Shamar says there's not a place that we don't go where I don't know somebody. It's because I talk to a lot of people.
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Yes. He says,
I heard that.
So, okay, Caroline, we gotta
we do
push forward.
You sure we don't want to do like a 4-hour podcast?
Oh, I don't have that much space.
I don't either.
Because them cards. So listen,
yeah.
I don't even want to ask the second question because to an extent, I don't feel like it needs to be asked. Do you feel it needs to be asked, Shamar?
No, Tay.
Okay, so we agree.
Okay.
See? Connection.
Right.
So.
But I did want to say something real quick.
Yes.
Can I say it?
Yes.
Whoever says what they say in our lives comes to it from their own fear or their own misunderstanding of what they're seeing in front of them. It's not like they don't know what goes on here.
Right.
You guys know what goes on here because you're here and you are you each times 2. So and then some days you're going to be on the same wavelength and then some days you're going to be, that's again being human. So I just wanted to throw that in there because that's what happens with people. And when someone says something like that, they just don't understand and it's okay. I mean, they're human too. Right. But it's just a thing. I just wanted to bring that up because it was like, we know a lot and we don't know anything.
Right.
Right. We know everything and nothing at all.
Mm.
That's what I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So Caroline,
Yes.
as we
I had to end it with that
as
one. Yeah.
we bring this to a close,
Yes.
what seed would you like to plant for those that are battling whatever it may be?
I think that from my perspective, from someone who has, like, I hated myself my whole life. You know, and we come into these situations in our lives and we think there's something wrong with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for people to know that there isn't anything wrong with you, to go back to that, remembering that you're human, to go back to like the reason that you're having all these things have nothing to do with who you are, the truth of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody else behaved toward you from their own fear or trauma or anger or whatever. That never had anything to do with you. So when you come to it from that perspective, and then just be open to the things that come, like if you're willing to pursue healing, if you're willing to take a new direction in your life, you gotta be courageous, because it's a scary, I mean, you know, you go, when I say dark night of the soul, there's a dark night. It's dark, you know, and dark isn't meant to be scary. It's meant to be, it's meant for us to bring our light back to it, to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So for whoever to just be aware of things and just pay attention and just be brave, because we're all brave. I mean, look at all the crap that we got to do every day of our lives. That takes a lot of bravery, especially in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just know that there's a truth inside of you that is pulling you to recognize that that truth is you being love, and be open to whatever shows up in that space. I hope that made sense, because it made sense in my head when I said it.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It makes sense. I had a whole response and I forgot what it was, but at the end of the day, deal with things when they happen, however you need to deal with it, you know.
And if you can't deal with it in the moment, then give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Because if you can't deal with it in the moment, you're going to beat yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't do that. That's not right. So do the grace thing too.
Yes. Tap into yourself more often.
Because there's a good, decent human in there,
Somewhere.
whether you believe that or not. There's a light in there. That's why you're tapping in. You're tapping into that light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let it shine. And that's all you get from me.
What's the first part, is it? No.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Well, listen, Caroline, can you tell the people where to find you if they're interested in finding you or your podcast?
Sure. Okay. So I have 2 websites, actually. One of them is for the podcast. It's awakeningsouldivinity.com, which is also on YouTube. And then I have another, if you don't watch YouTube, it's also, you can find me on mindbodyspirit.fm, which links back to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those things. But it's a site where you can actually also find a whole bunch of other, podcasts on there if you're interested in looking at them too. And then for the spiritual alchemy piece of it, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, CarolineRena.com, CarolineRena.com. And I am also on Substack as well. And I don't remember my tagline for Substack, but I'm in there. You can look me up under Caroline Rena, I think. But what I'm doing on there is I'm bringing out, I wrote a lot of poems, and the poems were related to my growth journey during that time. And now I'm putting it together. I'm saying this out loud in public, putting it together in a poem book. And I'm kind of throwing a lot of these poems onto Substack with my reflections from where I am now back to where I was when I wrote the poem, and having kind of this conversation with myself in recognizing who I was back then and where I'm at now. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And so Substack for sure. And then I think that's it. I think that's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
With that being said, I don't think I prepped you for this one.
Okay.
This is the space where I open the floor for you to ask me a question, make a statement, comment, whatever.
So
but if you have nothing, it's okay.
This is going to be harder on you than it is on me.
It usually is.
Okay. That's what it felt like when you said that.
Yeah, that's why when I said, I just be like, I don't know what I'm about to be asked. She thinking, Shamar.
I'm thinking.
She in deep thought about it too.
How many times have we seen each other? 3 now?
3.
Okay. There's something about a gift that I have of being able to see the potential in people.
Break it down. Yes, I like this. I like where this is going.
Yes. Don't say no. Don't say no. Because here's the thing. It's not just you, but I'm saying it to you because I'm sitting here in front of you and you just asked me to. Okay? You sure?
I'm never sure, but yes.
Okay, but that's brave. What I said about being brave.
Yes.
Right. I can see your light. I've seen it since the first time I met you, walking in, and you're like, big old smile on your face, welcoming, kind, all of it. We had wonderful conversation that day, right? You remember that?
Yes.
And you remember the fact that I could see through you?
Yes, I remember that too.
I still see that. I will always see that in people. Not everybody, but most people who are ready. And you're ready. You're ready. You just don't know that you're ready to be who you are already.
I can agree.
And somehow you called me in, buddy, because that happens a lot with me. Like, people will either think about something that they want in their life to change, or a prayer or whatever. It's like they I don't know how it is. I show up and then all of a sudden things just go. And I'm not like bragging anything on this. It's more like that's just my experience as to what's happened before. But something you wanted. Why random? I walk in the thing that day and here we're sitting here talking about this. So, right? So hear me when I say you are more powerful than you think you are.
Thank you.
I'll accept it. I receive it.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Apparently this has been a discussion. Huh?
It's been a plethora of discussion.
And this is your validation that it's true.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay. Well then.
Alrighty then.
But no, you're right. And it's just part of that ongoing internal battle. And, I told Shamar a few times.
What?
I thought you was whispering in the mic.
No.
I told Shamar a few times, when it comes to certain things, I just have to do. Because if I don't just do, I'll think, and then I'll overthink, and then nothing happens. And all of it just ties back into, you know what you're doing. You know where you are. You know where you're wanting to be. You know where you need to be. What are you doing? Like I said in the beginning. So what happened? What's happening? And I'm just filtering. You got to get rid of the bad stuff, the bad minerals, the bad seeds, the things that just don't need to be there holding you back. And,
But let me ask you something. Aren't those things making you who you are now?
Yes, but those are also the things that have me, in a sense, overthinking certain things.
No, I get it. it. But the overthinking causes you to overthink about the fact that they're bad. Right? Does that make sense when I say that?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and I'm only saying it because someone said it to me once. There's not a lot you need to do. You just need to make a choice. And your choice is to know who you are. That's it. Nothing more than that. And when you know who you are and you accept the fact that you're human and you've done all the whatever you've done and been who you've been and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that. When you accept that, allow the process to move forward in whatever way it does. And then you don't need to worry about, well, I got to do it this way. And because half the time we make these goals and dreams and do whatever. And that's not the direction we're supposed to be going in anyway, because something else is going to show up. Right? That's why you get to go in here. Out here has nothing to do with anything. In here, it reflects out there. So whenever you shift all this stuff, it's going to change all that.
True.
You're a good human.
Thank you. I'm going to sit on this.
Yeah, you better.
Well, listen, y'all. This has been another great episode recorded here at the premier space called Charlotte Podcast Studio. We're done. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast, where seeds sown become visions grown. I am your host, Tay, and I'm telling y'all this at the end like the episode ain't over. Shout out to Alec Studios. Shamar's not on cue. Oh my God.
I thought you were just going to do all three of them. And you never gave me the opportunity to introduce myself again since you finally introduced yourself. You're just, hey, stay right there. I need you to focus on what was just told to you. So I got this. I'll wrap this up.
Thank you, Shamar.
This was a beautiful conversation. I learned a lot. A lot of gems were dropped. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we are going to catch y'all in the next one. Peace.